What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Kaspa here. Today I want to try my crazy anti-Sicilian opening, which begins with the moves e4, c5 and bishop b5. The whole point is to sacrifice my bishop at some point, maybe right here or after playing bishop d5. I want to see how real people respond to this. I'm pretty much sure that I'm going to win a lot of games, but anyway, let me not overhype it. Anything can happen. So keep watching up to the end, and hey, wishing you a joyful and peaceful Merry Christmas or simply Happy Holidays. Before I play one or two games on leeches, my top 3 courses, including my e5 defense course, are all on discount. So go get your favorite course and save 30%. Let's go straight into the game and see how my opponents will respond to my elbow opening. Let's go. Right, so here we go. Pawn to e4. Let's see what my opponent is going to respond with. There we see the Sicilian defense. Let me give this guy some time to think about what they should do. Anyway, so now let me go bishop b5. So the whole point was to give my opponent time to think. I don't just want them to blaze moves. So now bishop c4 is the move you want to play, inviting the move pawn to b5, and only then will I play bishop d5. Great, so now I can play bishop d5 attacking the rook. Now this is when you can simply sacrifice your bishop on f7. Look at this, and look at me. Now after this you simply go queen h5 check. Let's see what my opponent is going to do. My goal in today's video is to disturb my opponent's peace. I don't want them to celebrate Christmas in peace. So with queen e5, I'm simply attacking the rook on h8 and the knight. I sacrifice the bishop and I'm about to get back a piece. Most of my opponents play bishop g7, after which I take on g8. I mean on b8. By the way, if you want to know more about this opening, which is also playable in classical chess, even in rated tournaments, you can simply watch the video that has popped up in the card above. It's simply my tutorial video. A tutorial video that I published yesterday. So what I do on this channel is I first of all create tutorials and then I begin testing them in my follow-up videos. I did not expect to see rook b7. Here I can just retreat my queen back to f4 and I'll just put it on f3, give it a chance. Let's see what my opponent is going to do. There we see pawn to d6. So here I can just continue with normal development. Pawn to d3. Maybe I should have played knight f3 first, give a check. But the whole point of playing this is just to disturb black's plan and, you know, just playing my chess. I don't want to play in black's terms or on black's terms. The thing is, I want to play knight f3, but I'm scared of bishop h6. I might end up losing my bishop on c1. So, oh wait a second, if bishop h6 I have knight g5 check in the near future. But maybe I can just prevent that by going queen h4, stopping pawn to h4 as well. And maybe if bishop h6 I'll just stick. So let's see what my opponent is going to do next. So now this is just another weird game that my opponent isn't familiar with, I guess. Knight f3, intending to go knight g5 next. By the way, this is the idea, just to play my game. I don't want to play on my opponent's terms. Now I want to go h3. Why pawn to h3? Because I have ideas of pushing pawn to g4 on the next move and just paving the way for my rook on h1. Or maybe I should have started with knight c3 first. Then we see king g8. Can I just develop a piece? Knight c3. Kind of the Grand Prix attack if you think about it. I do not intend to castle short, by the way, since black just castled short by hand. Pawn to b4. Now I can relocate my knight to the king side. Like that. There we see pawn to e5. Or maybe I can even castle shot. What am I doing? Or let's attack the g6 pawn. So I can do this and then play knight h4 in the near future. I really wanted to play pawn to g4. So let's go knight h4. There we see king h7. How I wish one of my knights was sitting on g5. Maybe let me relocate my knight to this square. Great. Now let's give a check. The king must go back. And then we get rid of one piece, the bishop, and then grab a free pawn. So this is what I was up to. By the way, this is a 3+2 rated blitz match. Now that I'm up a pawn with a positional advantage, I can safely look for ways to start exchanging pieces but not pawns. This is self-explanatory, by the way. I just want to check. If pawn takes, that'll be a check. Okay. Let's do this. Attack the knight. Why not? Why not bar and restaurant? I don't want to exchange queens. I don't want to exchange queens. I still need my queen. I need to be fast though, and look for ways to exchange my bigger pieces. Save the pawns for the end game. With queen g4, I'm also attacking the h4 pawn, by the way. I can just take. King g8, let's go back. Simple stuff. I might play this move. Oh, now we can do this. Maybe bishop e3. Next, I might castle short or long. Still need to be careful. Connect the pawns. I need to find a way to exchange pieces. Maybe I should do this, but there is check. I guess I'm doing great. Let's exchange. And castle long. Now this. And knight g3 is coming. Knight g3 has to be played now that there's a rook on g1. My opponent is running low on time. Let's defend the bishop. Easy peasy. And how about check? Let's attack the knight. Yeah, so my opponent's time has gone down. Besides, I think I had an advantage. Wherever the knight was going to go to, I was just going to start pushing my pawn and then probably mate or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, so that was my first game. How about challenging another opponent? Let me see how the next game will go. Stay tuned. Hey, don't forget to subscribe, share this video, and be good to each other. Oh God. By the way, let me know if you like my new board theme. Again, we have the Sicilian defense. This time I'm playing a 3 minutes blitz match. Again, pawn to s6. Let's go bishop c4. And then bishop d5, attacking the rook. If rook s7, you know the idea. Great. This is something else that I wanted to see. This is working perfectly. Here you just have to take and then set up your Grand Prix attack, beginning with the move pawn to d3. Yeah, pawn to d3 in this position. Next, pawn to f4, knight f3, and all that. So my opponent just played queen c7. What do I need to do? Pawn to f4. The idea is to go knight f3. Start developing all my bigger pieces behind those pawns. Knight f6, I can go pawn to e5 if I want, but let me just go knight f3. No need to rush. You rush, you crush. Bishop g4, let's attack that. There's no need to entertain demons. Oh, bad language. Anyway, pawn to e6. I was expecting to see something like pawn to e5. Now I can separate these pawns here. By the way, I can do whatever I want. Knight c3, bishop e3, or castle shot. In fact, let me change. Bishop e3, just to let you know that you don't need to memorize. You can do whatever you want as long as it makes sense. I could have played knight c3. So all these moves make sense to me. That's why I'm doing whatever I feel like doing. I'm playing against a 21-02, by the way. So, by the way, I can even play pawn to g4 here. I just realized this. You know, trying to finish off my opponent very quickly. Just do whatever you are comfortable with, as long as you are not blundering. Anyway, queen d7, I can go g5. See what I was talking about. So the knight has to go back. The knight has to go back. Like, seriously. And then castle long. So you can see how well advanced my pawns are on the king side. This is how you play this. By the way, if you want to, learn more about what I'm doing right now, simply watch my yesterday's tutorial video on the Du Bois opening. I don't know if this is the Du Bois opening or something like that. I'm not really sure. I didn't check the name. This is just something I thought of, studying yesterday, covering in my video. By the way, I just realized that most of you guys are not watching my videos that often these days. If you do that, you are just killing this channel. So always support your brother from another mother. Let's see what my opponent is going to do. Yep. Bishop takes, and queen b7. Now I can go for beam on the king side. This is the benefit of advancing pawns on the king side. Just pushing them anyhow. Once again, let me know if you like this board theme. Again, I'm used to that other brown board. Pap, look at how I'm dominating with my pawns on the king side. Who am I? And what do I do for a living? Anyway, now I have so many things to do, by the way. Maybe I can oversimplify first. Or just go... How about just attacking the knight? Look, this is pinned. So if knight g6, I'm just going to take the rook. Pap. Now rook takes. And then we get all in with the other rook. Or maybe I should have played pawn to h5 first. Oh, there's this. Oh, but I have pawn takes. So black is almost losing in this position if you think about it. If knight takes, I'm just going to take on g7. Okay, there we see rook e8 or whatever. Let me do this just in case. Two people are watching from the United States of America, a great nation. Thank you. Queen c7, I don't understand that move. Besides, I can even play h5 here. I mean h4. I want to go h5 next. Finally, knight takes. Let's attack. By the way, the plan is to take the knight and give a check. You see? Simple tactics. They have eyes, but they cannot see. Who are they? Anyway, so I just won a very crazy game. These are tactics that I love the most. There's one more line I forgot to cover in my yesterday's video. After bishop b5, s6, bishop c4, instead of pawn to b5, what if black just ignores your bishop and let's say they play pawn to e6, not allowing you to sacrifice your bishop in the long run? First, pawn to d3 is okay, but I find c3 to be more interesting. Maybe it's because I love the Alpine variation. Point is, if d5 is played, you now take, and after pawn takes, you simply go bishop b3, knowing that c4 can be met with bishop c2, e.g. this, then bishop c2. This is all great. You are not worse and you're not losing. Knight f6, you go knight f3. If queen e7 check, king f1 is not much of a stretch, but your position is going to be super passive, so just exchange queens in this position, and if they take, you just take. Say bishop g4, you go pawn to h3. If bishop takes, you can even take back with the king. You are just fine in this position. You can play with your king out. There are no queens and there is no light squared bishop to harass your queen on this square. So this is okay according to Stockfish. That's why the position is equal. Anyway, that's what you do if black plays pawn to e6. Sometimes you can also go pawn to d3 instead of c3, just to avoid memorizing. If pawn to d5, again you just take. If e takes, you go bishop b3, and consider playing c3 in the near future. There are no traps, so you're just going to develop normally and cast a shot. Sometimes if they play pawn to b5 here, you can even go queen f3, knowing that your bishop won't be trapped due to dc. If they take, you can even take that pawn. You know that at the end of the day, you're going to win a rook. Anyway, instead of pawn to e6, maybe black may play something else again, like pawn to d6. Against this, I would consider playing something else, perhaps knight c3 or pawn to d3. Why knight c3? Because I still want to invite this move, pawn to b5. It looks like there's going to be a lot going on the queen side, but this allows me to take on f7. After king takes, I go queen h5 check. Again, the whole idea is to disturb black's plans. Pawn to e6, queen takes a8. So I'm just up an exchange. Again, if black tries to trap my queen somehow, this time I'm ahead in development. I'll just continue with knight f3, that if knight c6 comes, I simply go pawn to e5 or knight g5. I mean, there's just a lot of things going on. In fact, if they start with pawn to h6 first after knight f3, maybe preventing this, yeah, I can just even sacrifice my knight here. It makes a lot of sense. Attacking the queen, if pawn takes, now I go queen a3. This is how I would rescue my queen. Yes, I'm down a piece, but I'm up an exchange with all the pawns. So I have 2 pawns for a knight. If you just play pawn to a4 here, you're going to lose, maybe due to bishop b7, and after queen a7, there is knight c6 and your queen is trapped. So this is why you want to rush out with the move knight takes b5, by the way, in case you were confused, because at least you are attacking this queen, so black will not have time to trap your queen like that. AB, queen a3, and your queen is safe. Look at the evil bar. Stockfish only gives like minus 0.9, as if we just lost a pawn. It's just a matter of time before you create a little battery on the queen side and start dominating the board. Lastly, after bishop b5, a6, and bishop c4, instead of pawn to b5, e6, or d6, black may also play knight c6. But if you just want to keep things simple, you can just go bishop d5. You want to take and continue playing your Grand Prix attack. This time, if knight d4 is played, you can even chase that knight, let it go back. If pawn to e6, you take on d4. After pawn takes, this time you even play pawn to d3. This makes a lot of sense because you're just one move away from connecting your pawns. If pawn takes, you take back. If cd, you don't even have to take. Let black take you because you don't want to remain with an isolated pawn like black. So you go knight f3, preparing to go pawn to e5 next, and then if pawn takes, you go de. If d5, you go queen takes. Pawn takes, take away their castling rights, and go knight g5. You're going to win at least a pawn back. So this is how you neutralize the Sicilian defense. Once again, instead of knight c6, if black plays knight f6 here, I would just play pawn to e5 under normal circumstances. But since I don't listen, I would sacrifice my e-pawn as well by playing a4 first. Point is, if knight takes e4 happens, I just want to take away black's castling rights, the same way we do in the Alpine defense, and go queen d5 check, get back that piece, and continue playing chess. Although this is dubious in the eyes of Stockfish, I believe it is playable at human level. Anyway, so these are just a few ideas that you can employ in your games. Let me know what you think about whatever I showed you in today's video and what else I should cover.